Hello students, welcome to today's video. This is the part third of your exercises of biology chapter 1. So in the previous video we did all the short question answers. Okay, today we will do at length. At length, number A, explain the following terms. Number 1 is leaf. So a leaf is the thin, flat and generally green outgrowth which develops from the node in the stem. The flat, thin part of the leaf is called lamina, which is attached to the stem with the help of a petiole. Okay, the petiole continues in the lamina as a thick vein called midrib. The main vein is called midrib. The petiole is attached to the stem. Okay, petiole, it attaches the lamina with the stem at a slightly swollen part called the leaf base. Number 2 is venation. So we all know that venation is the arrangement of veins and venlets on the venlets are the small branches of the veins. Okay, so their arrangement on the lamina of a leaf is called venation. If the veins are arranged in a network like random fashion, then it is called reticular venation. And if they are arranged in parallel to each other, then it is known as parallel venation. Number 3, insectivorous plants. So in some plants, they have modified leaves. The function of these leaves is to trap and digest the insect. Okay, and this type of plants are called insectivorous plant or carnivorous plant, and the example of this type of plant is Venus flytrap. Number 4, gynoecium, the innermost wall of the flower, which is the female reproductive part. The innermost wall, which is also a female reproductive part, is called gynoecium. It has 3 parts: stigma, style and ovary. Now the ovary is the part which bears the ovules, okay, which forms the seed after fertilization. Number 5, pollination. The process of transfer of pollen grains from anther to the stigma of a flower is called pollination. Okay, if the transfer is occurring between the flowers of the same plant, okay, then it is called self-pollination. But if it is occurring between the flower of the different plant but of same species, then it is called cross-pollination. Okay, now number B is differentiate between the following. Okay, number 1, simple leaf and compound leaf. So simple leaf, single leaf blade is present, whereas in compound leaf many leaflets are present. Okay, in simple leaf axillary bud is present. Okay, but in compound leaf axillary bud is absent. Okay, example of simple leaf is the leaf of mango, guava, etc. Example of compound leaf is neem, acacia, etc. Okay, number 2 difference is between reticulate venation and parallel venation. So in reticulate venation, what happens? The veins and venlets are irregularly arranged over the lamina, okay, forming a network like structure. Whereas in parallel venation, veins arising from the midrib run parallel to each other. So the example of reticulate venation is people and guava, whereas the example of parallel venation is banana and grass, etc. Okay, now moving on to next. Number 3 difference is between self-pollination and cross-pollination. So what happens in self-pollination is the transfer of pollen grains occurs from the anther to the stigma of same flower. Okay, or different flower but of the same plant. Okay, in the same plant, between the 2 different flower or within the same flower. Okay, whereas cross pollination, it occurs between the flowers of another plant, totally another plant, but they belong to the same species. So in self pollination, as it is occurring between the same flower, agents are not required to transfer the pollen grains. Okay, whereas in cross pollination, since the pollen grain has to travel from one flower to another flower in the another plant, agents are required. So self pollination occurs in wheat and barley, okay, and cross pollination takes place in poppies, petunia, etc. Okay, now the next differentiation is between monocot and dicot seed. Monocot and dicot seed. So in monocot seed, only mono means one. So only one cotyledon is present. So whereas in dicot, di means two. Therefore, two cotyledons are present. In monocot seed, embryo is placed at one corner of the seed. At the corner of the seed. Okay, whereas in dicot seed, the embryo is present at the middle. Okay, example of monocot seed is the maize seed and example of dicot seed is the pea seed. Now next, answer in detail. Number C, answer in detail. What is a leaf? Number 1, what is a leaf? Describe different parts of a leaf with the help of a suitable diagram. So what is a leaf? A leaf is a thin, flat, generally green outgrowth which develops from the node present in the stem. Okay, a leaf has different parts. What are they? A leaf has thin flat part called lamina. Okay, the lamina is joined to the stem with the help of a petiole. Okay, now petiole continues in lamina as midrib. Okay, the lateral branches of midrib is called veins. Okay, and the petiole is the petiole is attached to the stem at slightly swollen part called leaf base. So the picture is attached here. Okay, you can draw the diagram in the copy. Okay, the same picture is present in your book. Okay, you have to draw the diagram in the copy. Plain page. Okay, number 2. What are the different parts of a flower? Write their important functions. Now, we all know flower has 4 different parts. Mainly 4 different parts. They are calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium. Okay. Now, function of calyx. It protects the inner part of the flower during birth stage. So, we all have seen a birth of a flower, isn't it? It is covered by a green calyx. Okay, number 2 is corolla, and what is the function? It protects the reproductive part of the flower and also attracts, as corolla is brightly colored. Corolla means petals. Okay, they are brightly colored, so they attract insects. When insects come, they do the pollination. Number 4 is androecium. What is the function of androecium? They produce male reproductive cell. And gynoecium produce female reproductive cell. Number 3. What is a fruit? Name various parts of a fruit. Now we all know a matured ovary with the seed is called a fruit. A fruit has 2 parts. Okay, fruit wall and seed. Fruit wall is called pericarp. Okay, the pericarp is divided into 3 layers. The outermost is very thin called epicarp. The middle fleshy which we eat is called mesocarp and the inner hard one is called the endocarp. Okay, these are the different parts of a fruit. Now number 4, write a note on vegetative propagation in leaves. So in some plants like bryophyllum, what happens? Birds are present in the margin of leaves. Okay, from which the plantlets will develop. Plantlet means small baby plants. Okay, the plantlets can detach from the parent plant and develop into a new plant. So these small baby plants, they can detach from the leaf and they can develop into a new plant. This is called vegetative propagation. Because why is it called vegetative propagation? Because new baby plants are arising from the vegetative part of the plant. Not the reproductive part but the vegetative part of the parent plant. Okay. Number 5. Describe the structure of a seed with the help of a diagram. Explain how it germinates. No, the structure of seed is, it has an outer covering called the seed coat. A baby plant called embryo is present inside the seed. seed coat. Okay, then an embryo consists of 3 parts. Now usually seed has a cover called seed coat. Inside the seed coat there are cotyledons and a baby plant. Now embryo, the baby plant, has 3 parts: the plumule, which will become shoot or the stem, the radicle, which will become root, and the cotyledons, which stores reserve food and develop into the first leaves. So what happens during germination? The seed absorbs water and they swells up. Okay, when they swells up, their size increases, the seed coat bursts. Okay, then when the seed coat it bursts, the radicle will elongate and grow to downwards and give rise to root. Okay, after the radicle give rise to root, the plumule comes out and grows upward and give rise to shoot. Then what will happen to cotyledons? They form the first leaf of the plant. Okay, thank you so much.